Welcome to the Holistic Health Bites podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Nicholson, here with bite-sized episodes to empower, educate, and enlighten you with ways to lose weight, heal your gut, and achieve your ideal health so you can live an adventure-filled life. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Holistic Health Bites podcast. Today, we are talking about body composition and why it's an important factor to pay attention to. So what is body composition? This is simply a breakdown of your total weight. So we are made up of fat, muscle, bone, and water. If you add all of those things up, you get your total weight. Now, muscle, bone, and water are generally combined to account for lean body mass. So we end up with lean body mass versus fat mass. Body composition is not the same as your BMI, body mass index, or your total body weight. Now, BMI is a calculation based on your height and weight. So you take your weight in kilograms and you divide that by your height in meters squared. Now, don't worry about that calculation. There are tons of free online calculators that you can just enter your height and weight and figure out what your BMI is. So you don't really need to understand the math. Now, this is not a very helpful metric because it doesn't take into account your lean versus your fat mass. It's only really taking into account your total weight. So if we take, for example, a bodybuilder, say he's 6 feet tall, 225 pounds, solid muscle, small waist, and in great physical condition. Compare that to a sedentary man who is also 6 feet tall, 225 pounds, but has a larger waist circumference and lower muscle mass. They'll have the exact same BMI of 30.5 because they have the exact same height and weight. This 30.5 falls into the obese category, but clearly they are in very different states of health. The bodybuilder is not unhealthy or obese. His weight is made up by more muscle and bone with less fat than the sedentary man that has the larger waist circumference that's made up of fat. The scale also doesn't tell you anything about your body composition. It would show that these two men are of equal health if weight is the only metric. Both the scale and BMI calculations could also show someone in the healthy range, but that person could still have high levels of belly fat, aka visceral fat, on their organs. You may hear this referred to as someone who has normal weight obesity, or they're thin on the outside, fat on the inside, or even skinny fat. Now, this is a dangerous condition because whether you're overweight, normal weight, or underweight, having visceral fat increases your risk of diabetes, fatty liver, and many other metabolic conditions. Now, optimally, we want to have higher lean mass and lower fat mass in order to have quality muscle tone, strong bones, and lower metabolic disease risk. This will help you stay stronger and more functional as you age, having a higher and longer quality of life. This also reduces your risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, and many other illnesses. So how do you know what your body composition is? There are a variety of ways to estimate your current body composition. The easiest and cheapest way is to use a tape measure. Belly fat is the riskiest type of body fat. Looking at your waist to height ratio is a great estimator of your insulin resistance and metabolic disease risk. So you want to measure your waist at the top of your hip bones, keeping the tape measure level around your body. Now, optimally, your waist should be less than half of your height. So let's say you are 5 foot 8 inches tall or 68 inches. you would want your waist measurement to be less than 34 inches to have good insulin sensitivity. If your number is more than half of your height, you're at greater risk for insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and other metabolic conditions. Now, another great way is to take photographs of your body. Now, this is always everyone's least favorite part, but photographs are a great way to visibly see the changes in your body size and shape. Take them in the same location, at the same time of day, and with the same zoom ratio to make sure that you're really comparing the same angles, times of day, types of clothing, all of those sorts of things. And you want to make sure that you're wearing clothing that will show what your body really looks like. Now, there, of course, are more expensive and higher tech ways to measure your body composition, but most of those are going to require going to a gym or a medical facility. Now, I won't go into great detail on those here, but feel free to reach out if you'd like more information on those methods. So, how do we improve our body composition? We have to eat right, we have to exercise, and we have to minimize stressors. Now, nutritionally, the first priority is protein. Protein contains the necessary amino acids for building muscle, organ, bone, hormones, and all of the enzymes needed throughout your body. If you're active, and you should be, at a minimum, you want to aim to get 1.6 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight. That's the amount of protein you should aim to consume. So this would be about 110 grams of protein per day for someone whose ideal weight is 150 pounds. Now, if you're doing intense exercise or resistance training, you may need even more protein. Now, in the show notes for this episode, I will post a simple table that will help you get started in determining your protein intake needs. Eating a low-carb diet can help you burn more body fat by reducing blood sugar levels, insulin levels, and boosting your body's ability to burn fat. Now remember, when your blood sugars are elevated, your insulin is elevated, and insulin is a fat storage hormone, and it blocks the ability to burn your stored fat. So if we can decrease sugar levels and decrease insulin levels, you can remove that block and you can start burning your body fat again. Research has shown that low-carb eating can reduce body fat composition faster than low-fat eating. One study in particular, the low-carbohydrate group lost 22.8% of their abdominal fat compared to the low-fat group that only lost 1% on average. The greatest results in this study were in those who reduced their carbohydrate intake to less than 50 grams total per day. Now, if you'd like to learn more about eating a healthy low-carb diet, schedule a free consultation with me. I also have to say, if you are on any diabetes medications, blood pressure medications, any medications of any kind, or if this kind of eating and exercise regimen is new to you, please reach out. There are some special caveats that you need to take into account before you just start lowering your carbohydrate intake. This actually can be very dangerous if you have a current medical condition that needs to be considered before you do this. So it's a very safe diet, but there are some considerations that you have to make if you have a current medical condition or you're on medications. So please schedule a consultation before you take on this diet. Now, in the best case scenario, you're going to lose body fat while maintaining or even adding lean tissue. And by lean tissue, we mean primarily muscle, but as you build muscle, you can also increase your bone mass. And even maintaining your muscle mass will help you maintain your bone mass. So this is a good thing for longevity and having higher quality of life throughout age. So now we've talked about protein and carbohydrates. The last remaining macronutrient is fat. Don't be afraid of fat. We need fat for brain health, hormones, vitamin and nutrient absorption, and energy. However, we don't need to intentionally load up on fat. You just want to be sure that you're using healthy sources of fat and you're adding it to your meals for satiety and for flavor. That's what makes your food taste so good. Now, you can use coconut products like full-fat canned coconut milk. You can use coconut oil. MCT oil is one of my favorite healthy fats. You can also eat olives or cook with olive oil. You can use avocados and avocado oil. And of course, you have your quality animal fats. You can add things like butter, ghee, quality dairy products, and even the fatty meats and fatty seafoods that you consume. These are all great sources of healthy fats that you can prioritize implementing into your daily life with each meal. Next up for refining your body composition is exercise. Resistance training is key to building and maintaining muscle mass and for burning visceral fat, that fat around your organs. You don't have to hit the gym or pump heavy iron with bodybuilders, but you do need to move your muscles against resistance. This could be lifting heavy objects, pulling or pushing against resistance, or even by just fighting gravity. Things like squats, push-ups, wall sits, lifting weights, using resistance bands, walking up hills or stairs, doing planks, even swimming or biking with resistance added. Now, we're going for the muscle burn here, more so than the cardiovascular endurance. So if you're just getting started, go slow and be safe. Start small with body weight only work and slowly increase over time. Don't jump right in with an hour-long heavy weightlifting session. You can also do just a couple of minutes a few times a day. Don't work the same muscle groups multiple days in a row. Your muscles need time to rest. The rest is actually when the strength and the muscle gain happens. When you're doing the workout, you're damaging the muscle. And in the rest, the muscle is repairing, and that's when it comes back stronger. So you need rest on all the muscle groups as you're working them out so that you're getting that time for them to rebuild stronger. Start with just 3 days a week doing resistance training, and then add active rest days in between. Things like yoga, walking, Pilates, biking, or even interval training can be great. So there you have some fabulous ways to improve your body composition. You can determine what your body composition is, and you can add some of these tips in to refine your body composition to have more lean tissue and less fat tissue. As always, hit me up with questions, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. Thanks for being a faithful listener to the podcast. I'd love it if you left me a 5-star review on this podcast so that others can more easily find this valuable information. Did you know I also work one-on-one with clients? I approach solving health challenges like I approached solving crimes, by conducting a thorough investigation into your case. Whether you're looking to lose weight, boost your energy, fix your digestive system, or reduce inflammation, I can help. All you have to do to get started is book a free call. The link is in the show notes.